using the slope formula, and this is the slope with 2 points. So what I want to do is I want to kind of go over that with you guys for just a moment. So the first thing is we have to identify what the 2 points are, and most of the time that's going to be given to us, or we can look at it on a graph. All right, but for today, we're just going to talk about the points that are given to us. No matter what, you have 2 points. I typically like to have the one that is furthest to the left. This is we're going to call point 1. And the other one is point 2. All right. And the reason I label those point 1 and point 2 is because our slope formula calls for x1 and y1 values. So our slope formula is actually going to be y2 minus y1 divided by or over x2 minus x1. So in order to accomplish the x2 and x1 values, we use 0.1, 0.2. And all I'm going to do is label their their parts. x1 and y1 for 0.1 and x2, y2 for 0.2. Now, this is just like substituting in an expression. So my y2 is 14, so 14 minus my y1, which is negative 4, over x2, which is negative 1, minus x1, which is negative 4. Now, those of you who have me in class, you know I don't like to subtract negatives, so we're going to rewrite this as a positive, so plus, and we add the opposite. So this will be plus 4 over negative 1 plus positive 4. And we end up with a result of 18 over 3. Now, normally, we would just say that's an improper fraction. How many times does 3 go into 18? And we'd say 6 times. And that is correct. But usually with slope, we want to keep it as a fraction. So we would simplify this. We would just take out a common factor of 3 and end up with 6 over 1. So I'd say that the slope here is going to be 6 over 1. Can you write the answer as just a plain old 6? The answer is yes, you can. But because we talk about the direction, the change in y is 6 and the change in x is 1, a lot of times we're going to leave it as 6 over 1 early in this chapter. Let's try another problem. So we have 1 and 9 and 4 and negative 19. So I'm going to label this as x1, y1, x2, y2. And then we have our slope formula, which tells me that I have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And let's substitute some values. y2, negative 19, minus y1, which is 9, over x2, which is 4, minus x1, which is 1. So negative 19 minus 9 is like saying negative 19 plus negative 9. And 4 minus 1 is just going to be 4 minus 1. So we're going to have a negative 28 over 3. Now this is very interesting because normally, as you saw above, we would have something that could simplify very easily. Well, that's not the case here. 3 and 28 don't have a common factor. So our actual answer here is going to be negative 28 thirds, or negative 28 over 3, telling us that the change in y over the change in x is going to be down 28 spaces, right 3 spaces. So I hope this helps clarify some of the understanding of solving for slope using the slope formula.